Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live at 5:55. So today it's been fucked. I mean, it's been absolutely chaotically, insanely crazy every single minute of today. Like, I want to ask all of you, have you been crazy? Like, has it been a crazy day? Is it the full moon? Is it the energy? Like, I feel like everything that I've tried to do today, including the horn that just went off, has not been working. Okay, everything that I've tried to do, there has been a resistance. I even tried to pay my taxes today and I got cut off. The phone literally dropped its signal. Never happened before. Dropped it 3 times. I was just on a live video. My light went off about 1 million times. I mean, a couple of you were on there. So before we get into the energy of today and how freaking crazy it's been, I just want to say hi, everyone on YouTube. Nice to see you all. Thank you for joining me. Hello, everyone on Facebook. Nice to see you all. Thank you for joining me. So I wanted to warn you all, I'm in 3D. I am absolutely in the third dimension today. I am absolutely participating this day as a human. Hello, Ariel and Chad and Zach and Lauren and Allison and Scott. Nice to see you all. So I'm going to be live broadcasting in full third dimension, and I want to let you all know that I had this thought of, oh no, something's wrong. I'm in the third dimension. I shouldn't, I wanted to cancel this live video altogether, but I was also kind of excited about relaying all the information today. And so part of me is like, oh no, something's wrong. I'm not in the highest vibration, so I shouldn't be teaching today. That was my thought. I shouldn't be teaching today because I'm not in the highest vibration. And honestly, I wouldn't be a good teacher if I was all love and light all the time. I wouldn't be a good teacher if I had all the knowledge, all the answers all the time. I wouldn't be a good teacher if I did not experience the true quintessential essence of being human. And I'll tell you that this morning I had a huge breakthrough and another huge download and realization about how to deal with stress, how to deal with fear, how to deal with anxiety, how to deal with the shit that hits us, when we don't expect it, right? So, first of all, I just wanted to ask all of you, how has your today been? Has it been good? Has it been stressful? How's your week been? Has your week been good, in flow, stressful, pleasant? I want to know. I want to know. Am I the only one feeling super triggered and also feeling like I'm getting stuck or blocked or, it's crazy. I mean, even today I was supposed to have a live video about manifestation, but my assistant, my wonderful, lovely assistant, told me that it was about dimensions. So I wrote up 60 minutes on dimensions instead. So you guys are all going to get a really intense, really in-depth dimensional lesson today. I'm going to go through what all the dimensions mean, how they affect us, and how we can basically move through the dimensions so that they can serve us. Okay, great. So I've got a couple people on YouTube over here and a couple people on Facebook as well that are going through, some of these triggers and, loose hair. I don't know, stray hairs. I don't know. I don't even know. So anyway, so lots to talk about today. I am quite excited about bringing you the information. And once again, I wouldn't be a good teacher if I did not experience everything that being human has to offer. So I wanted to kind of bring to you something that I mentioned in the last video, and I'm sorry, YouTube, but you didn't get a chance to view the last video. If you missed the last video last week, please hop over to Facebook and check that out at some point this week. Anyway, so yeah. So you know how I was talking about action, reaction, reaction. You set your intention, you set your thought, you set your vibration, and then the world creates it afterwards, right? So this is kind of like, always in movement effect, where we don't realize that what's happening to us right now in this moment, we created yesterday or a week ago or 3 months ago, right? So once again, we're going through this kind of movie-like slide scale. And so I had this other realization today, and it's kind of like an addition to what I was talking about yesterday. And please, guys, if you enjoy my videos, if you really, like my little rants and what I channel and the information that I bring, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please like my Facebook page. I know a lot of you who watch my videos don't necessarily like my page, so please like it. Turn on the notifications so that you're always up to date with the information that I am bringing all of you. And then also throughout the live video, if you are interested in letting me know that you resonate with the content, then please go ahead and click that little heart or the little thumbs up. That really kind of supports me and lets me know that, you're really vibing with the content. Hi, everyone. Hi, Kat. Thanks for joining. Okay. Yes. Great. Okay, great. So I just wanted to add to the scale of creation, okay, and manifestation. And hopefully you guys are still hearing me. Facebook's still working. Okay, good. Okay, good. So once again, so we've got an intention. The thought always comes first. We can all agree, we're all here, we can all agree that our thoughts create our reality, right? So we've got the thought, and then we've got the manifestation, and then the thought, and then the manifestation. So I thought about this as the action and the reaction. The thought about the thing, whatever that thing is, itself is the action. We have to realize that our thoughts really truly do create our reality. So in having a thought, we are creating an action in our life. Okay? So thought, reaction. So our thought is the action. Everything that ripples out into our reality is the reaction from the action. The ripple effect in our reality is the reaction from the action, okay? So we've got the action, reaction, reaction. Now this is kind of where it gets a little bit fucked up, and it's really going to mess with your head, because I know that it messed with mine this morning, literally when it came to me. And so here's the problem. Okay, here's the problem. We can all take our power back. We can all take full responsibility for our lives. We can all agree that our thoughts create our reality. But the problem is that we have a new thought, a new action, and yet we are still going through the old reaction from the thought that you had yesterday, or from the thought that you had a moment ago. And the problem is that we start reacting to our reactions. So we have a changed action, which is the thought. The action is the thought. The reaction is the ripple of the thought, okay? So we've got the thought, then the reaction of the thought in our reality. The problem is that we are constantly purging out the old reactions in our life from the old mentality. Say, for example, if you spent 10 years saying that you're not good enough, and then all of a sudden you woke the fuck up and you realize that you've been telling yourself that you're not good enough, and you start telling yourself you're good enough, all of a sudden your reality, your life is still gonna show you that you're not good enough. And then you're like, you know what? I thought I changed my mind. Why isn't my reality changing? We're still purging out all of the old thoughts. The problem is that a lot of us get stuck in this liminal. We can't get over the hump of, you know what? It's okay, I'm just purging out the old right now. Even though my thoughts have changed, is uplifted, I'm purging out the old. And so what's happening is that we're actually, we're reacting to the old reactions, and we are changing our thoughts back to the old thoughts because we don't believe in ourselves that our thoughts really do create our reality. So we believe it for a second. Our reality is still showing us our old thought patterns and old thought paradigm. And then we go back to saying, oh, see, I knew I wasn't worth it. Then you change your thoughts back to the old paradigm, and the reaction just keeps going. The problem is that we're reacting to being reactional, and we're not just embracing it, supporting it, loving it in that moment. So I'm going to give you an example of, oh, I really want to give you a good example. Okay, hold on. Um, there's so many examples, like work and family and whatever. Um, okay. I guess work. Okay. So let's like say for example you had your own business, right? And you're like, okay, my business has always been suffering. The reaction to my thoughts are I'm not good enough, I'm lacking abundance, right? So you convince yourself in the thoughts that you're lacking abundance. Your reality is showing you that you're lacking abundance. Your thoughts are all of a sudden changing. You're like, you know what? I am abundant. I do deserve this. And then all of a sudden, you're still not making enough money because your reality is purging out the old paradigm. And then you react on the reactions from the old and you change your thoughts back to the new. It's like being judgmental about someone else, being aware that you're judgmental, and actually hating yourself for being judgmental. Instead of just accepting that old paradigm thought as what it is and saying, okay, cool, like I think I'm fat today, that's fine, like I'm just gonna let it go and move on. Instead, you're like, oh, I can't believe I could think that way, I'm trying to change my thoughts. The reaction to the thought itself is perpetuating the old paradigm. We have to trust that we are recreating our reality, but it takes a little bit longer. Okay, so don't react to the thoughts, don't react to the projections, right? Because the more we react to the old paradigm thoughts, or the more we react to the projections in our reality and the old paradigms in our reality, the more and more we create that for ourselves. Oh, I have a pain in my shoulder, I thought I got over that pain, but it's back. Just because you're convincing yourself and telling yourself that that pain is back, guess what? It is back, and it's back to stay, right? We have to really stay firm in our belief that our thoughts are changing and recreating our reality in every single moment. Okay, super important. Okay, good. I just had to add that. Okay. So today, I've been super scatterbrained. I've been super all over the place. I'm sure you guys can pick up on my energy. It's been a lot because I've been traveling a lot. So here's what the first things are when you get hit with a low vibrational frequency. Okay, the first things to be affected. Okay. The first thing in your physical reality to be affected by your low vibrational thoughts is your body. Now think about it. The second you're like, oh no, I don't know if I'm good enough. Oh no, like what if I go out tonight and I'm not wearing the right outfit? Oh no, what if my friends will judge me? Oh no, blah, 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 whatever it may be, okay? The first thing to get affected is your physical body. Immediately when you have that thought, you're gonna feel anxious. You're gonna feel sick to your stomach. Immediately say for example, you've gotten a tattoo before. Immediately when you think about getting a tattoo again, what do you feel? You feel the vibration, you feel the feeling of getting tattooed again on your body. Your body is what is affected first. Second thing that I find is affected right after that is your technology. Oh, it's weird, but technology is kind of in this liminal state between physical and non-physical. Like it's existing here as a computer, but it's also simultaneously not existing online, right? Like the online space is void of both time and space. So it's existing but not existing. So the first thing to get hit by your thoughts is your body. The first thing to get affected by your thoughts is your body. The second thing to get affected by your thoughts is your technology. Today, I mean, even Facebook is glitching out on me right now, and my light would on, off in my last video. Super weird. So your technology. And then eventually your physical reality will get affected. If you're like, oh no, I feel so alone, I feel so lonely, no one wants to be with me, I don't have any friends. The friends that you do have are going to start flaking on you if you tell yourself that you're alone and lonely enough. You're going to start to penetrate that into your external physical reality, okay? So we need to know that we are affecting our body, our energy, our technology, and our external reality in every moment, whether we see it instantaneously or feel it instantaneously or not. So I just had a little sticky note there. Just had to mention that to all of you. Okay, a couple of really quick announcements. So this is the last call for the full moon gathering. I literally have a full moon gathering, a live video right after this. And it's going to be just channeling the energies of the full moon. I'm going to be pulling tarot cards. I'm going to be downloading messages for the people who are tuned in to that live video. So it's going to be basically an hour intensive about the full moon. And I just want to see where all of you are at with that. So this is the last call. I am still offering tickets. My lovely assistant will be posting a link to purchase your tickets. And that's going to be right at 4:30 or 4:30 PST or 7:30 EST, Eastern Standard Time, for about an hour. So please keep that in mind. Last call for full moon tickets. Today is the full moon. We are going to be celebrating it with some conscious intentions, some homework, some tarot cards, all of that great stuff. So if you want to join us, please click on the link below. And then also Mexico retreat, a couple of spots still open for the all women's Mexico retreat in September. Please email me. And I'm so sorry, guys. Like, my email has been hacked. It's been taken down. You can't access my email on my computer or my website. It's been crazy. Technology just is not a fan of mine right now. I missed a really important podcast meeting this morning. I still don't know if my podcast is going to be taken off because I'm not landing the numbers. And that's my other kind of announcement. Please check out my podcast. I'm not just trying to get numbers, I'm actually trying to awaken and enlighten everyone as much as possible. And the podcasts are, super, super hard hitting. If you really want the information, check out the podcast, and the links will be posted below in the comments. Okay, so anyway, Mexico retreat, it's happening. There's a couple of spots left in September. Last call for the full moon gathering. Also, I have this really epic, and you'll see it on Facebook, really amazing membership page on Facebook, which means that I have all private Q&A sessions. I have a private live at 5:55 every Thursday. So I've got a lot of amazing information and content that you're not going to find anywhere else on this Facebook membership page. So please check it out. It's only $11 Canadian a month. So definitely keep that in mind. Okay, and then the next podcast, which is going to be released tomorrow, is all about why we forget all of our memories when we're born. And it's so epic. It is honestly so epic. So if you've ever wondered, hey, I know I have past lifetimes, but why do I feel like, I forget my past lives? Or why do humans in general forget their past lives? The podcast tomorrow will explain all of that. Okay, good. And then last but not least, I have a speaking engagement happening this Saturday, and it is downtown LA at a huge park, an outdoor park, and I will be speaking on stage for 60 minutes regarding how to break through the matrix and unlock your DNA. It's going to be absolutely epic. Please come by, check it out, give me a big hug if you are in the LA or California, Southern California area. I would love for you to come out and check that out, and if not, it will be hopefully live broadcasted as well on Saturday. So keep that in mind. And then last but not least, I've got these really incredible, really beautiful cosmic dog tags that I have just released as far as a product order. So basically, I channel your interdimensional name. I channel the dimension that interdimensional being comes from, and all of that great stuff. So if you are interested in understanding who you are from a cosmic perspective and maybe what species you come from, check out these dog tags. All right. Fantastic. Okay, so once again, I want to know, how are you guys? How has today been? How has your week been? It's been a little bit crazy with the full moon energy. A little disclaimer, everything that I'm about to talk about, everything that I channel, or everything that I talk about today, I've channeled right from the source. So I don't know. I've never read a book on dimensions. I've never fully understood dimensions from a scientific perspective. All I know about the dimensions is what I have channeled. So I'm going to be going through first dimension, second dimension, third dimension, fourth dimension, and fifth dimension today. And you can take it or leave it. Feel free. This is not necessarily the truth. This is just my own understanding of what I have experienced while astral traveling the universe. And I'm going to try and explain the dimensions in a way that a physicist would agree with, but an everyday person would understand, if that makes sense. Okay? Okay, so dimension 1. Oh, okay. Hold on. Before I go into all the different dimensions and explaining them properly, I want to talk about vibrational frequency and the fact that the entire universe out there has 97% dark matter. The entire universe out there has 97% dark matter. Now, this is matter that science right now on Earth cannot study, right? They cannot observe it, and they cannot study it. Now, only 4% people, okay, I didn't channel this, I actually researched this as information, okay, 4% of the entire fucking universe, only 4% of the entire universe is made up of planets, stars, and galaxies. So the actual matter that we can see as a planet, a star, or a galaxy is only 4%. There's 97% of stuff out there that we cannot see or measure with the technology that we have right now. I believe that 97% of the dark matter is a form of vibrational frequency. I believe that 97% is actually different dimensions. I really, truly believe that. And I believe that from a third dimensional perspective, we can't necessarily study other dimensions. How do I see these things visually, so it's kind of difficult. Okay, here we go. I have an example. So say, for example, my entire body, okay, this physical vessel is existing in the third dimension, which includes the first, the second, and of course the third dimension. So when I look down at my physical body, I am observing 3 dimensions of a physical form. When I am perceiving myself in this moment, I am unable to perceive myself in the 8th dimension, in the 5th dimension, in the 12th dimension, in the 11th dimension. Okay, so once again, when I look at my physical body, I'm only perceiving myself in the 3rd dimension because I am observing myself from the 3rd dimension. What I mean by this, and this is really cool, is that science is limited in what it can observe because science is only observing things from a third dimensional perspective. Science is only observing things at a physical level. That's it. And I believe it was Nikola Tesla that said that if we started studying the quantum world, then science would exponentially grow through the roof. But because we're only studying things at a physical level, we're missing 97% of the universe. Now, I just want to equate this to 2 more things. We only use, like no word of a lie, we only use 7 to 8% of our neuropathic capacity. Okay, we only use 7 to 8% of our neuropathic capacity. Basically, that means we only use 7 to 8% of our brain functionality. We have potentially 90% of our brain that we have not fully harnessed. And yes, certain moments, like maybe a car accident or a graduation or something, certain moments will spark different neural pathways and allow us to access different parts of the brain, similar to accessing dimethyltryptamine in your pineal gland. Certain moments will allow us to access certain aspects of our brain. certain technologies on this planet will allow us to observe certain aspects of the universe, right? Now, likewise, very similar to our DNA. Did you know that we're only using about 10% of our DNA, which means that only 10% of our full 100% DNA structure is active. The rest of it is dormant. The rest of it is basically being unused, and they say that it's junk DNA, and I say that's bullshit. Now, it's interesting how all of these percentages really line up. We're only observing 5% of the universe, we're only using 10% of the brain, and likewise we're only using 10% of our DNA structure, and I believe that all of the rest of those percentages have everything to do with vibrational frequency, the quantum world. And it's really beautiful because it is the quantum world that I channel the most. It is the quantum world that I connect myself to, which is really interesting. Okay, so I just wanted to make the comparison. I'm just making an objective comparison. I'm not really drawing any conclusions on that. I'm just saying, hey, it's important for us to be aware of that. And someone on YouTube asked me, what were you talking about? What gland was that? It's called the pineal or the pineal gland, Pineal, pineal gland, right in the center of your skull. It's really cool. I was talking to a genetic physician on the weekend. I meet these crazy people, met this genetic physician at the wedding that I went to in Canada. And I swear we had like a 4-hour conversation at the reception about genetic mutations, tumors, neuropathways. Every question that I asked him, he's like, whoa, that's a great question. Okay, yeah. And it was really incredible. So anyway, moving on. I also want to mention that the dimensions I also consider to be densities, okay? I switch up the terminology from dimensions to density. This is the third density. It's the 11th density. And when we think about the dimensions as densities, we can think about them as different vibrational frequencies. And that is how I would define all dimensions within the known universe, okay? Is different vibrational frequencies. Think about the dimensions as different radio stations. You can't have 91.5 simultaneously playing on the same station as 101.8. You can't, right? So the dimensions are working together, but they are also stacked on top of each other. The dimensions do not go from dimension 1 to dimension 12. The dimensions go from dimension 1 to dimension 12, okay? The dimensions are stacked on top of each other. They are not linear. They are simultaneous. This is really important if you want to learn, the dimensions, what they are all about. Okay, once again, I'm just going to briefly explain the different dimensions. So, dimension 1, it's a really rudimentary version, but I'm just gonna mention it. Hold on. Okay, so dimension 1, just think about it as a straight line, okay? Think about it as a straight line. Dimension 1, one dimension, is just a straight line. Objectively, it is just existing as that straight line. And that's it. Okay, good. Okay, dimension 2 is a line that intersects over top of the first dimension, okay? So every dimension interacts with each other and they actually feed off of each other. You cannot have the third dimension without the first and the second dimension. So the fourth dimension isn't just one dimension. The fourth dimension is 4 dimensions simultaneously coexisting together. Hopefully that makes sense so far. You guys vibing? Does that make sense? We moving along on this? Okay, good. Okay, so with the second dimension, you've got one line, first dimension, then you've got a second dimension on top of that one line. Now, a couple of cool things that start to happen within the second dimension. The second dimension brings the polarity between the quantum universe. What I mean by that is the second dimension starts to manifest and create polarity. With one dimension, there is no polarity that is created at all. It just is what it is in the moment objectively. With the second dimension laying over top of the first dimension, it creates polarity. It creates binary. If you have one, then you have two. If you have zero, then you have one. It's the binary system of the world. Every single thing in this universe exists off of the binary of ones and zeros. This universe would not be existing with just one dimension. It actually can't exist within just one dimension. Everything in existence only exists when there is one and then the other, when there is light and then there is darkness. And that's it, okay? So everything only exists when there is two, right? 0 and 1, all and nothing. Nothing cannot exist without all. All cannot exist without nothingness. And that's it, right? So a lot of cool things start to take place when one dimension is matched with another dimension. So if you think about the intersection of dimension 1 and dimension 2, it creates a cross section, okay? Now that cross section creates a vortex. It creates a portal. It actually starts to create a circular motion of, once again, everything and nothingness all at the same time. And what that second dimension also creates is awareness. All awareness is consciousness. So with the second dimension, consciousness can be created. With just one dimension, consciousness cannot exist. And the reason why I say that consciousness cannot exist within one dimension is because consciousness needs to be sentient. It needs to be aware of itself. In just one dimension, everything is existing exactly as it is without any sort of obstruction. It is the obstruction, it is the difference, it is the polarity, it is the addition to the one that creates the awareness of the other. Awareness cannot be created as just an objective thing in and of itself. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you guys are all, once again, this is just how I understand it based on what I've seen, vibrations, visuals, astral traveling, those kind of things. So say, for example, this cup, okay, this water glass, just as itself, I know this isn't one-dimensional, but imagine that it is. As itself, this water glass, it's unchanged. It's unmoving. It doesn't need to do anything. It doesn't need to go anywhere. It doesn't need to exist or not exist. It just is. This is one-dimensional. It isn't, but just imagine that it is, right? This one-dimensional, it just is what it is in the moment. It's just unmoving, unchanging. There needs to be at least one dimension in order for there to be consciousness, okay? Now, when we put another dimension on top of it, say that dimension creates consciousness, it's like, oh, now I'm aware of the first dimension. Now I'm aware of the glass and how the glass is now coming into my reality. The second dimension creates binary, which essentially creates polarity, which essentially creates consciousness. Okay, very cool. Awesome. Let's see, what else did I want to mention about that? Great, light, dark. Okay, fantastic. Okay, awesome. Okay, so dimension 3. Now we all understand the third dimension, and I talk about the third dimension a lot. We all understand the third dimension as us in this physical state of being. Super cool. So what I wrote down here is the third dimension is the first and second dimension taking form. Okay, and what I understand the third dimension to be, it's a little bit more difficult when we're kind of understanding them in this capacity, is the third dimension is the action. It's the action of the consciousness. It's the action of the binary world of the one and the zero, of the all and the nothing. The third dimension is the objective awareness of it and the action behind the different dimensions, okay? Yeah, I don't know. It's like, okay, so the first dimension is the glass itself. Okay, the second dimension is me observing the glass. Third dimension is me asking myself, how does this, theoretically, how does this glass affect my life? And how does the water contained within the glass add value or not add value to my life? And then what are you going to do with that awareness, right? The third dimension is like taking the action upon the first and the second dimension. So light and dark can just exist. In the first and second dimension, consciousness, light and dark, can just objectively exist. You know, there's a polarity there. Yes, there's a push and pull. Yes, it's everything and nothing all at the same time. But there doesn't need to be any action behind the light and the dark, behind ones and zeros, just as they are. They're just existing. And because they're existing within the binary of 1 and 0, everything and nothing, it's actually divinely balanced exactly as it is. Okay, cool. Now when we add the third dimension to it, we're all of a sudden taking pure consciousness, pure light and pure dark, and we're putting it, ooh, I'm getting chills. Ah, so good. We're putting it into a physical form. We're taking the light, we're taking the dark, we're taking the binary, we're taking the 1, we're taking the 0, and we are transforming it. We are putting it into action in the physical form. And now, as this third dimensional being, I have the ability of free will. I have the ability of choice. I even have the ability of individual perception, which means that I have the ability to make a choice of whether or not I am going to sip this glass, consume it, break it, work with it, not work with it, because I am now existing in a physical form, playing with the binary of the ones and the zeros. I'm playing with reality as a third dimensional being. In every moment, we are existing and working with the dimension 1, dimension 2, and then the third dimension, which is basically, you could think of it as a perception, taking action on the ones and zeros. All right, does that make sense? Okay, hopefully it does. Okay, good. Okay, so let's talk about dimension 4. Okay. So I've always understood the fourth dimension as time. Now, right before I went into this live video, I had a question, right? Because I like to question knowledge and information that comes through. And my question was, okay, so we all know that fourth dimension is time, or I know fourth dimension is time, but I was like questioning, I said, if all of the dimensions are looking down on itself and all of the dimensions above are utilizing the aspects of all of the dimensions below, then if the fourth dimension is time, then that should mean that the third dimension doesn't have time at all, right? So I kind of asked this question. I'm like, okay, hold up. If the fourth dimension is time, and all of the dimensions are stacked on each other, then how can something like the third dimension exist with time when time is actually in the fourth dimension? Does that make sense? Like, I had this question and I did get an answer. I did get a response. It does make sense. And it's not exactly tangible. So you're going to have to kind of work with these thoughts with me. So the response was that fourth dimension is time, and the third dimension is working with the concept of time, but in a limited fashion. So time is kind of always just in existence. The second that we have the binary between the 1 and the 0, we have to confine that binary within a measurement system. That measurement system being, say, the fourth dimension, the time dimension. Okay. So the third dimension has time, but our sense of time is limited by dimension 1 and dimension 2. Hopefully that makes sense. The fourth dimension is something that it is time, it's time itself, but it is time without the limitations of the third dimension. It is time without the space. The third dimension is space and time confined by each other. Time is confined with space, space is confined with time. This room is existing because over time, this whole building got built, okay? So this room is existing because of time. Time in this space, in this room, is existing because the physical world exists around it. Once again, it's kind of untangible, but hopefully you guys are getting this. Okay, so it's like, whew. Okay, so the fourth dimension is time itself, but it is time that is unrestricted by the physicality of space. It is time that is unrestricted by atoms, okay? In the fourth dimension density, we can experience time infinitely in the past and infinitely in the future anywhere in the, well, not anywhere in the universe, because the fourth dimension is still confined by space. The fourth dimension is overcoming time. The third dimension is the limitation of time and space. The fourth dimension is overcoming time, but still limited by space, if that makes sense. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see if I had anything else there. Okay. Time is a measurement. Fourth dimension is the freedom of time, no longer limited by the confines of space. It's almost like in the fourth dimension, space and time are no longer synonymous. Okay. They're different. Okay. Okay. And, okay. So then let's talk about the fifth dimension. Now, we all kind of know the fifth dimension. It's like, yes, let's transcend the fifth dimension. Let's raise our vibration. Let's go there. Let's do this, whatever. And so it's great. I mean, we all kind of understand that there's like good things in the fifth dimension, but we don't really know what it is. So I want to explain the fifth dimension, and I also want to let you all know that there are many other dimensions. Like, from what I have channeled, there are 12 dimensions in this universe. This has been very contested by a lot of channelers and psychics. Not really contested with me, but contested just out there in the universe, or out there in the world. There's a lot of different opinions on how many dimensions there are. From what I've channeled, there are 12 dimensions. Eventually, there's going to be about 13 dimensions moving forward. Now, within each of those dimensions, within each moment in every dimension, there is an infinite number of possible realities, right? So there's parallel realities based on the free will choices within each of those dimensions. So it branches off infinitely. And that's why when I talk to people about dimensions or channelers, like, oh, there's an infinite number of different dimensions out there. And I said, no, there's not an infinite number of different dimensions. There's an infinite number of different parallel realities existing in every moment within each dimension. But there is, in this universe at least, a limited amount of dimensions. Okay, once again, there's just density, right? Anyway, moving on. So dimension 5. Right. Right. So the fifth dimension has all of the aspects of the binary world between everything and nothing. Dimension 1, Dimension 2, the awareness perception of Dimension 3, the limitless time of Dimension 4, but the fifth dimension is more free from space. It is more free from the atomic vessel that is kind of holding us all down here at this time. Okay, so the fifth dimension, you can still be a physical being in the fifth dimension, but you're going to be more of like a crystal. Crystals are kind of liquid. They are existing. They are conscious. They're still physical, but they are not necessarily as dense as third dimensional beings or fourth dimensional beings. So fifth dimensional beings are able to pop in and out of this reality. They're able to travel through the universe. They're able to not really exist within the confines of time. And then we can all hop into the fifth dimension in a higher vibrational sense. Like, yes, okay, so it's so tricky to explain. And I'm not going to try to push too hard, but there's one thing that just popped into my mind, and I'm going to say it, and I've never said anything like this before. I've never thought of anything like this before, but it popped into my mind, and I have to say it because it just came in. Take it or leave it. I don't even know how I feel about it yet. So we have our third dimensional human body. We have the fifth dimension, okay? This like state of pure consciousness or awareness or the fifth dimension frequency. When we transition from the third dimension into the fifth dimension, say for example, we're astral traveling to a spaceship out there in the universe. When we astral travel, when we get out of our body, we become a higher vibrational being than even the fifth dimension. Like, I'm almost wondering, like, when we're astral traveling, it's tough. Because I'm even hearing the words that astral traveling is different from pure consciousness. Because when think about it, if we're a human and we go out of our body and we're astral traveling around the universe, we are still existing as our human self. When I astral travel, I see my astral body as my little tiny 5 foot nothing human body. That's what I see when I astral travel. When we are pure source energy, when we're pure consciousness, we do not exist within a dimension at all. So it's really tough to say, like, it's almost impossible to experience pure source without a body, because even in the astral plane, we're experiencing the limitations of our perception. It's just so tough. But once again, when we are just a soul, we are not contained or confined within the limitations of any dimension. Not the 12th dimension, not the 3rd dimension, not the, even 11th dimension. We're just pure source. Pure source is vibrational frequency without dimension. Anyway, it's like very, very, once again, it's a very untangible type of concept is these dimensions, but hopefully this information is adding to your, hopefully it's adding to your understanding here. Okay. Yes. So let go of all of the information that I just shared with you on the dimensions, and I want you to just realize that the higher you go in the dimensions, the more open, the less limited, the more free you become, the closer to source you get, and the more of a capacity you have to understand the world or the universe around you, right? If we are limited to the first dimension, I mean, consciousness, once again, doesn't really exist in that dimension. Say, for example, we're limited to the second dimension. All we're doing is we're just existing within the binary state. Say, for example, you're an 11th dimensional being. Not only can you perceive your state of being in that moment, but you could perceive another being in the 6th dimension and their state of being and how that affects their life and what they're learning from it and how all the pieces connect simultaneously. And while you're that 11th dimensional being, you're also going to be simultaneously a 12th dimensional being and a 6th dimensional being, right? So the higher you go in the densities, the higher you go in a physical form anyway, in the densities in the different dimensions, the more of a capacity that you have to understand the universe around you. Like right now, if like you guys were to try and tap into the knowledge and information of even a 6th dimensional Arcturian, it would probably hurt your brain. You'd probably have a migraine for like 3 weeks, because you tried to use your 3rd dimension capacity to perceive a 6th dimensional being, right? Our brains, our bodies, our human is a limiting factor and limiting with time and space, which isn't allowing us to perceive things at a much more in-depth and complex level. Hopefully that makes sense. The higher the vibration you go as an interdimensional being, the more of a capacity you have to tap into infinite amounts of information. Right now, for me, when I channel, I'm like receiving the information, I'm translating it through my perception, I'm translating it through my human, and I'm trying to relay the information as best as I can, at a high vibration as I can, but also at a vibration where other people are going to get what I'm talking about and not think that I'm just this batshit crazy, chick, which, some of you still think, but that's okay. Because I do truly believe that I'm tapping into true knowledge and information. Okay, so yes. So 5th dimension and beyond, the limitations get a lot less. The higher you go, the more of a capacity you have. Humans as hybrids have the capacity to transcend this dimension. I have to say this again. Humans as hybrids have the capacity to transcend the 3rd dimension, okay? Humans as hybrids, because we have interdimensional DNA within us, the higher the vibration we go, the more DNA we unlock, the more our physical body can comprehend other dimensions and other frequencies. We have 11th dimensional being DNA within us. We have 6th dimensional being DNA within us. We have 8th dimensional being DNA within us. And we are yet these 3rd dimensional beings told that we are just this insignificant, speck of sand floating on this rock in space, right? This is not the case at all. We are so powerful, and we all need to know that with our ability to comprehend these larger concepts, we can unlock our DNA. And I say that knowledge will set you free, because knowledge and information, just by you participating and listening, being an active listener, you are shifting your DNA as we speak, so that you are opening up your higher capacity to transcend and move through the third dimension frequency altogether. Okay? Okay, great. Okay, good. All right, so I have a challenge for all of you. I have some homework that I want to assign so that you can start to transcend your own programming, because the only thing that is keeping you in the third dimension is your own habit patterns. It's your own thought patterns. It's your own programming that is keeping you stuck here at this time. Before I get to that, I just have a couple more announcements, and then we're going to basically close off this live video. Okay, so last call for full moon. I have full moon tickets being released right now. It's $44 Canadian. If you are interested, today's the full moon. The energy's been absolutely insane. So if you want to work with me and do some oracle card readings and allow me to read your energy and tap into the energy of the full moon, I think it's some full pink moon or something. So I'm going to be doing live channeling. I'm going to be doing tarot card pulling. I'm going to be doing, tapping into your energy. If you're interested, it's happening literally half an hour after this live video. So it'll be 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it's going to be 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's happening like right after this. So if you want to join us for the full moon, it's on Zoom. You will be sent a link. Please check your junk mail and join us half an hour after. One last call for the Mexico retreat. So the full moon is not just women only, it is women and men who are allowed to join that. The Mexico retreat is open, but it's only open to women. So please, if you're interested in getting your third eye blown wide open and understanding, the depth of this reality and, recreating your paradigm, you want to check out that Mexico retreat happening in September with yours truly. 3 more things. Disclosure Fest. I will be speaking about unlocking your DNA and breaking through the matrix this Saturday. So keep that in mind. Downtown LA. So if you're in the LA, Orange County, Southern California area, please come check it out and come say hi to me. Also, check out my membership page on Facebook. It's called The Teachers, and it is really only for teachers. And I have exclusive content, exclusive live videos, exclusive Q&As, exclusive homework every single week. So check that out, and that's a subscription of $11 a month. Once again, Canadian. Okay, and then I am also selling a cosmic tag, which basically means that I channel your cosmic parallel self, and then I send this to you right to your house. So if you're interested in really understanding how to work with your energy and raise your vibration and connect to your true self, you want to check out that product. And then last thing is podcast is being released tomorrow, and it's all about why do we forget our past lifetimes, right? Why do we forget? Why do we have to forget? We shouldn't have to forget our past lives, but we do. And how do we deal with that? So take a look at that tomorrow, Tuesday. All right, awesome. Okay. So I have a challenge for all of you, and thank you guys. I love you guys too. Thank you. So I have a challenge for all of you, and I'm calling it the Itchy Face Challenge. Okay, once again, the Itchy Face Challenge. So this past weekend and this past week, I've been like really go, super kind of stressy, this ball of 3D energy, which is fine because I got to go through that to be human and really just kind of love myself through it, right? So anyway, so every time I get stressed out, every time I make a bigger deal out of things that don't really matter than they should, I break out in this crazy rash all over my face. And it's kind of like my body starts attacking itself to say something is wrong. right? It's like, oh my God, something is wrong. My mind was creating this paradigm of something is wrong, something is wrong. We're going to give her a reaction. Like my body is giving me a reaction based on my thoughts because my thoughts have been crazy. So my face was so itchy, like no word of a lie, like so itchy. It was like wetting, and I'm like, ugh. Like, you know when you have like a really strong itch or a mosquito bite, and you just want to like itch it so badly. It's like everything in your body, everything in your mind is telling you that you have to do that one thing, right? You have to do that thing. And this is an ideal time to reprogram your mind. When your mind is screaming at you to do one thing, it's a really good time to reprogram that screaming, you know? So in my mind, half of me, like sometimes I itched it. Most of the time I was just kind of at peace with it. And I said, no, like accept it that it's itchy, but don't take action on something that doesn't serve me. So I was really aware of it. So my itchy face challenge, so funny, to all of you is I want you to find one thing that you react to. What is one thing that your mind just screams at you? Like, you gotta do this. Like, say, for example, like my mom, I know she's listening right now. So it's really funny. She's gonna laugh. So in her, like at her home, right? In my, whatever, at her home, when the sunlight comes through the windows in her home and it shows her all the dust that's sitting on all of the furniture, it drives her crazy. And the thought that screams out at her in that moment is, I gotta dust, I can't relax, I gotta dust, I can't relax, I gotta dust. You know, and so I want to ask all of you, and please comment below, what is one thing that really triggers you, that you feel like you're forced to do immediately right away, and you feel like you cannot relax until you do that thing? What is the thing, right? What is the reaction? What is, like for me, I'm calling it the itchy face challenge. For me, it was like itching my face. Like my whole body was screaming, you gotta do this. So Becca's, we've got cigarettes. Yeah, absolutely. Your body will scream at you to say cigarettes. Say, I need a cigarette right now, you know? So I want you to all pinpoint exactly what you react to the most. Exactly what screams out at you, or how your body and your mind react and scream at you the most. And then I want you to not take action on that thing, whatever it may be. Do not dust. When you see the dust, don't dust. When you feel the need to itch, don't itch. When you feel the need to smoke a cigarette, don't smoke a cigarette. Sharma, when you feel the need to eat chocolate, don't eat chocolate, okay? I just once, just reprogram your mind in that way to not take action on what your body is screaming yourself to do. Okay. Same thing of like eating. Like I find, like, I don't want to say eating is completely unnecessary, but like probably 80% of the time when our body is telling us that we're hungry, we're not. Most likely you're just dehydrated, you know, and your body is saying, hey, eat some food because maybe you can get some hydration, right? Or whatever. So just know that even something like feeling really hungry and having that feeling and that thought of being really hungry distract you, don't allow your mind to distract you from the present moment. Okay? Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, good. And then I'm going to do a live draw, and I have one more thing. So, itchy face challenge. Okay, one thing this week until my next live video that I want you to stop. Okay, stop in the moment. Okay, so we're going to do a live draw for a free webinar. I have a manifestation webinar right now. I have a how to open your third eye and be psychic webinar. And I also have a breakthrough dimensions, breakthrough reality, which is more of a quantum physics based webinar. And these are just pre-recorded. They get sent to you via email. You can purchase them, but hopefully you actually win here today. So I've got over, I think, 400 names in here from Google and Facebook reviews. Let's see who the lucky winner is. Right away, it was like so solid. This person has been manifesting because right away I picked their name and I felt like that's it, that's the one. And then we also have another little case here. Oh my goodness. And this one, I need to find a new little container, but this one is all about the podcast reviews. If you've reviewed me on the podcast, your name is in here. I think there's about maybe 70 reviews now, maybe 40. I don't know. Let's see. Who's gonna win now? Webinar. I feel it. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so our two winners. The podcast winner is... it's called, their name is funny because it's their iTunes name. Their iTunes name is Spotty Fan 2013. So, Spotty Fan 2013, if you have reviewed me on the podcast on iTunes, please reach out to me. If you're watching this right now, please reach out. You have won. Congratulations. And for the rest of you, please, once again, share this live video. People need to know that the information is out there. Subscribe to my Facebook page and YouTube, as well as my podcast on iTunes. And then the person who definitely was manifesting this out of 400 names is, oh, cool. Okay, Dharma Paneri. Very cool name. Dharma Paneri. Congratulations, Dharma. I will, please, if you're watching this, please reach out to me. If anything, I will get my assistant to reach out to you as that winner. So the last thing I want to leave you all off with, and hopefully most of you are going to be joining me on my full moon group that's happening in about a half an hour. And so for the rest of you, do not limit yourself to one dimension. Do not limit yourself to the third dimension. Do not limit yourself to the first. Don't limit yourself to one dimension. Do not limit yourself to what you see around you. You are powerful. You are magnificent. You are incredible. And you are able to manifest anything that you want to manifest with your intention and thoughts. I love you all so much. Please check out my membership page. I will be doing a live video on Thursday at 5:55 off of the teacher's membership page on Facebook. Love you all. Have a beautiful, incredible full moon. Please check out the ceremony if you want to set your intentions and start this full moon off right.